Peace, everybody. True and living here, and welcome to Mindset of a Sage, man. We back with another episode. Grateful for that. Appreciate all the love, man. For all the people that's new, go ahead and hit that subscribe. Flat out. Do your boy a solid. Jump on the team, man. Help us build this thing up from the ground up, you know. It's all about elevation and synergy, you know. So we connecting the dots, one dot at a time. Now today, we're back on our Deactivate mind control. This part of it is the social media phase. And I'm calling it the media trance, essentially, right now. Why we're using the trance is because I believe that through algorithms, they are creating certain narratives for us to kind of move within, right? And through that, they create a uniformity amongst us, right? And so they know that it's not going to be everybody, and they don't intend on having everybody move a certain way. And they being the powers that be, what they need is about 8 out of 10, 7 to 8 out of 10, which would make about 85%, of the people. And they need them moving in a certain direction, right? They need them all chasing the same type of agendas. They need what's important to be important to the majority of us, right? The few in between, the rebels, the different enlightened people, it's not enough of them. They're okay with that. It's the masses. Now, how can they get the masses to kind of move in a certain direction? Well, first thing they got to do, they got to control what you're going to be watching. They got to control what you're going to be listening to, right? Now, they knew about vibrations and rhythms long before we did, right? And so they are aware of what repetition does, right? And so once you create a certain type of pattern in people, now you instill that in them. What they're going to do, they're going to go out and instill it in the people around them, right? And so now what becomes important is established and embedded in you before you even know what important means, right? What's valuable, what's not valuable, all these different things. Now, for some of us, when we grow up and venture out, you say, hey, oh, that wasn't like that. And some of your goals shift, different things shift, your paradigm changes. But for the most part, everything, who you are and what's important to you is essentially taught to you. And what I'm telling you is that it was taught to the ones before you. And these teachings and different patterns and different things is based off the vibrational pulls that's been happening around us. And so if you haven't been fortunate enough to be raised around people who are able to step outside of the box and kind of see the other side of that and have more of a broader vision, then more than likely you've been trained and taught in a kind of tunnel vision kind of way. And this is actual facts. So let's see how these things happen. First thing, like I said, they're going to try to control what you're seeing. So this is your TV, different things like that. Now it's the things that you're seeing on your phones and your tablets, right? Different things that we are hearing via the radio, and also on your phones and your tablets. So now, you can hear everything on your phone. You don't need the radio. I don't even listen to the radio, to be honest with you. All the music I listen to is on my Apple thing. I just go on there and pay Apple certain amount of money. I listen to whatever I'm gonna listen to and stuff like that. So, but all of that Sirius FM and different things like that, they got all different type of platforms that they're using. Now, how do they get us to always kind of not see what's going on, right? The carrot on the string. Well, one of the best ways to do that is to present the good and present the convenience of a thing, right? So it's like, okay, we're going to take away some liberties from you, but we're going to make it more convenient for you as well, right? And so what happens now, that convenience starts to be more important than liberties. You see what I'm saying? So we're going to allow you to get on these different things, right? So now here we have our Facebooks, Instagrams, of these things are wonderful, right? They give you different ways to connect, different ways to link up with your family, people you haven't spoken to in years that you may have wanted to, and build a brand for yourself. Different platforms. I'm on here now talking, right? All different type of monetary things that you can do based off that social media. So there's lots and lots of benefits. Outside of that, you got your movies that they've been making, right? And different type of things. So again, all of these things have massive benefits, right? But just like anything else that's man-made, it has a dark side to it, right? It has a breakdown side to it. It has a side that's not good for you. And this is everything man-made, right? From the food to the medicine. It got good values, and then it got, that's how you get one drug, but you might have to take another one because of that, right? So that's the thing with that. So the same thing is true with this. So although you get to do all those things, there's a darker side, Now, the only thing that kind of gives you power is your ability to choose, right? Your ability to choose what it is that you're going to feed into your brain, into your psyche, into your aura, your whole vibration, right? What kind of things are going to fuel you, see? And this is your only chance to step out, to really be in control of your own thoughts. Outside of that, your thoughts and your ideals are going to get shifted and molded, and it's going to be based on the pressures that come from society through the algorithms and patterns that they have set up to create what is essentially living right and not living right, right? And this is a serious thing. We're going to get into it in a minute. So we touched on promoting, branding, monetary information, right? You get all kind of information, obviously, over these things. So now, mind control, shaping and shifting our perception, right? Very important. Now, how does this happen? So when they allow us to get on here, like I'm on here now, they allow movies to be made, people to get on the radio, people to do whatever, right? They allow a certain type of thing to be said. If they don't want it, if they don't think it's appropriate for their agenda, you're out of here. It's going to be a cancel culture thing going on. It's that simple. So you're going to have to stay within the rules. Now here's the thing about the rules. They have created the illusion of freedom. So we think like right now, freedom of speech. I'm only free to speak these things because they know that my message and different messages like this are not going to sway and affect the masses. And if it does, I'm out of here. Meaning either off this YouTube or dead. That's how it goes. You're not going to be creating and shifting paradigms to pull people away from the conformity and masses and think you're going to be able to live. They're not having that. That's not how this thing works. This thing works off a few of you guys enlightened, taking care, and the rest of them moving that way. See, they don't mind you doing it. Get your little crew and y'all, you got a circle, a couple thousand, whatever the case may be. You start talking about millions of people now. Changing that kind of paradigm. Well, listen, you're going to be dead. That's not how it goes. So now let's think about that for a second. Why is this the case? Because of the control. They need us moving in a certain. They need the same things to be important, right? They want you eating the same type of foods for the most part, the same type of way of life, right? So they can have a algorithm for your life. You're going to live about this long. This is the probabilities and percentages. All these things is how it gets broken down. trust me, they got people that have classes for this now, where they can look at a young man, you can tell them somebody's age, where they live, give them a few demographics, and they'll be able to tell you, say, hey, that guy's probably be dead by the time he's 18. Or it's a good chance that guy's going to be able to be successful. Because they don't study numbers. So everything is about numbers and algorithms, man. And once they start feeding these things and creating these narratives for us now, you don't even know that what you're watching is what they want you to watch. You see? And then they're going to give you more of it. So now when you look at your suggested for you, if you see it's not a lot of high vibrational stuff in there, then you know you're falling right into the trap they want you to. They don't care about you listening to some guy on the screen hollering about whatever, or talking to you about what Diddy's doing, all these different people is doing. They don't care about that kind of stuff. The more of you guys watch that, the better, because it means what? You're all going to be kind of getting the same message and repeat it in your mind, repeat it in your mindset, and it's going to shape your paradigm a certain way. Period. Period. You ever wonder why there's so many like fast food places? There's so many different places to eat. And we think that's great. We're thinking about variety, like go out, you can eat all the different things, eat all the different stuff. But the truth about it is, it's a uniformity and a conformity in that. Most of them places are going to kill you eating that stuff. Believe me. It's not designed for you to eat that stuff and live a while. This is not like your great-grandmother, your grandmother. They coming off a different. Your old grandmother that's like 90 now and all that, they're the last of that. They're the last of that. There won't be people like that eating meat and all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? Because they done changed everything about it. It's not about the longevity, it's about getting them out of here, right? It's about whatever they're doing with your life, your identity, getting you moving in a certain direction, living a certain way, dying around a certain age, never getting what you were supposed to get. Especially those of you that are falling into the conformity, because that means that what's conforming for the most part? They got it's certain ways that they're going to have you doing it. So they want you working. Number one, want you working. If you're not going to be working, then they want you creating jobs for other people, right? If you're not going to do that, then it needed to be some on an entertainment level, right? Where you're affecting the masses some kind of way, you know, and they're building up. You know, it has to be like this. The people who find a way to make money outside of that is where they really keep an eye on. You see? Because these is the people who have found a way to generate wealth and income outside of the norm. Right? Which means what? They're not directly in control of that like they are with everything else, because they set these things up. So it's put like this for you to be wealthy from this. They don't mind that, you know? And it's only certain levels they're going to allow you to go. Because the money is not the thing. Money gives you opportunities and certain type of inclusions for sure. It gives you a certain kind of know-how, but it doesn't put you in that kind of situation. You know that thing's not about money. Those getting into that powers that be circle, essentially, that's about bloodlines, right? Where you went to school, who your great-great-granddad was, all this kind of shit. It's got nothing to do with money, you know. So everybody thinking about rappers and stuff like that, all of a sudden getting into these elitist groups like that, that's out. That's not how it was designed, where they're gonna just take some rapper from the streets and bring him into something that's been going on since the beginning of time, the beginning of the evolution of the country, essentially, right? Now you're privy to that based off money that they provided a lane for you to make in it. So that means you could have been anybody. The way they have it set up, you're gonna be a specific person. You're gonna come from a specific bloodline. They want to make sure of it, or you're not involved. See, So that's the difference. And it's these people who are creating these different paradigm shifts that keep us all locked into a certain way. So now, when you pick up your phone and you scrolling these things, right, you got to look at what you're looking for, right? Why did you click onto that, right? And once you identify that, you got to see if this is something that's based off of what's important to you, or something that's been told to you, or something that's been repeated in your mind. You see what I'm saying? Do you know most people don't even know what's really important to them? They have no clue. It's been taught and told to them from the beginning of time. You're gonna work, go to school, again, maybe go to school again, work, take care of your family, have some debt. That's your life. Have some kids. That's your American dream life. See? So again, who you are is not necessarily who you think you are until you really define it. You check what you're watching and what you. This is why we got situations where people are willing to shape and alter their bodies, their faces, right, to create anew. The reality is the only thing that can truly create anew is a change of mindset. But social pressure, what is promoted and what we treat well determines a lot of that. So when you see women doing certain things and getting their bodies enhanced and all that, you can't, what do you expect from them? You treat women that look like that differently than the ones that don't. See? Women want to be natural unless they got a certain type of, grade and stuff like that. They won't get treated the same. So what's the girl going to do? More than likely, they're going to start sewing stuff in their heads. Right? They're going to try to create a different type of look. They're going to try to, say, well, hey, I'm just enhancing it. Yeah, you are, but what you're willing to go through and do and all of that is what changes. And what I'm telling you is, you think that you want that, but you don't realize it's the social conformity that's kicking in, that you really want to look like this because you done seen somebody else look like it, and now you want to look like them. You say, well, no, I don't want to look like them. I just want to have hair that look like her. No, but either way, your hair don't look like that. You're gonna have to buy somebody else's hair and add it on to yours to make it look like that. And that's gonna be super important to you. Do you know there's certain women who won't come outside without, making up their face and doing certain things to their hair and stuff like that? You know what I mean? And that's because of what? The pressures that's been created from society. It's a lot of social pressure that way. And most of it comes from what? The messages we're being taught. So now, when you see the person and you're wondering why they're doing that, they react, and that's how they reacted to the social pressure. You say, well, I'm not going to react that way. You're going to do what? So you're going to go to church. Now you got people flying into these churches, right? Packing into these churches, spending money, right? No, this is like, listen, the only conforming you should do when it comes to religion is trying to stay within the books and tap into them texts. But conforming to churches and trying to overly extend and blend in with churches is a mistake, because you get too caught up in man and too caught up in the agendas of people, and it ain't like, it's not holy anymore. It's not spiritual like that. It's more of a business. It's an arrangement. And if you think it's not, stop paying them tithes and see how it work out for you. Same church you go to every week, stop paying them tithes though, right? And see how it works out for you, right? And so this is the reality of that. That's a business. That's why you can't blame people. They gonna get in church. Why? Because there's a stigma behind it. They gonna get into the masjids and get into those temples, and everything, because there's a stigma behind it, and I'm saying that that's fine as long as you know why you're going and you're tuned in and turned on to why you're there. But if you're there because of a social pressure or because of pressure from your family and things like that, you're there for the wrong reasons, and it's not going to have the effect on you. They're going to be speaking in tongues and crying and going through all that, and you're going to be standing there wondering what the hell going on here. I'm just telling you. This stuff's vibrational, man. And because it's vibrational, nothing can attract the vibration more than images and beats and sequences, right? Certain number patterns, lighting. They know this thing. You ever wonder why if all you ever been to the casinos, this is the reason why the casinos have certain color patterns, loud ringing bells, and no lights. No clocks and no windows, right? Psychological stuff, man. You go outside, you don't even realize it's a new day. See? Same thing happens with these things. You want to go right from school, high school, college, get the job, career, family, house, debt. Bam. American dream. Think about it. Says who? Well, this is what smart people do. This is what people do. That's what they're going to tell you. This is what people do. You know, they go from here, they go to there. This is what they do. They go from there to there, and then this. That's what people do. Who? Normal people, right? Okay. Well, I'm not normal. So I'm not going to conform to that. If I do that, it's going to be purely about me and for my benefit. I know exactly what I'm trying to do. It's not going to be because y'all don't pressure me into that. Because things are changed when that happens. This is what's happening all around us. And it's a mind control. And then now, what they do is, because they create these images and they create these different types of lifestyles and things that they want us to lead, they can get the people to do the work for them. So now, the powers that be, they don't have to get directly involved because they done planted so many seeds in the people around you. They'll do all the work for them. You try not to conform in the neighborhood and try to stand out a certain kind of way and see how that happens. Let people find out you want something different than what the majority of them want, and they're gonna be on you. They're gonna be watching you. They're gonna be doing the neighborhood watch on you and all that kind of stuff, having meetings about you and stuff, popping up with places to see what's going on. You know, this is what I'm telling you, man. It's the same thing at the job. What's the first thing happens when you go to a job and you get in there, right? They tell you what, this is how we do things around here. Got a way of operating around here. This is how you do it. And this is the same thing with life. This is how they got you lined up. They want you eating certain things, right? They want you looking at certain things, right? This is the mind control all over again. So, yeah, man, I appreciate everybody hanging in there with me, man. I got a little long-winded there, but just to sum up these points, man. So, remember that your feed is actually a trap for you. When it says suggested for you, most times, these is the things that you've been picking, and they're gonna give you more like it. Now, this is only good if the majority of the things you're picking is centered around self-elevation and those type of positive things. If the majority of things you're picking is low vibrational, things that's going to keep you in a conformal way where you're kind of doing what the masses are doing, like most of the people are watching what you watch right now or scrolling what you want, they liking what you like right now, like it's a bunch, then you're falling into the trap that they want. And you think you're making choices, but you're not. They done steered it your way. I'm telling you this. So, thanks for everybody tuning in, man. We're going to be getting into part 3. That'll be the next episode. I'll tell you all about it. But, everybody, I really appreciate this journey we're on. It's what's going to separate you from the rest. Your ability to tap into that, right? And keep moving towards your goal. The main thing that holds most person would rather wait on a check than go try to create something and be the one that writes the checks. There's no security in that. What if shit don't work out? Got a family here, got kids. I can't quit my job. Can't not work. You're right. Say hello to the life that you're living. But anyway, that's it for me, man. Get with y'all on the next one. Peace.